The last 16 of the 2017 Ladbrokes Challenge Cup has paired two teams that gave us the most remarkable game of last year. Salford snatching Super League survival from an almost impossible position, and Hull Kingston Rovers left wondering what had happened. Well, rugby league and life moves on, and now the sides meet again, this time separated by divisional status, but both very high on confidence. The Red Devils and the Robins, live and exclusive from the AJ Bell Stadium, here on Sky Sports. Well, last night on Sky Sports, we were at Featherstone and brought you Rovers march into the quarterfinals for the first time in 20 years. They led 13-6 at half-time and pushed out to a 24-12 win over Halifax. The other fixtures in round 6 are as follows. Last year's beaten semi-finalists Wakefield are away to Dewsbury, while the holders of the glorious Challenge Cup, Hull FC, start their defence against the Catalan Dragons at home. And on Saturday, Super League league leaders Castleford take on powerhouse St Helens, who are going through a rough patch at the moment. A 2:30 p.m. start for that one. 3 matches on Sunday, all with 3 o'clock starts. Leeds host Barrow, Wigan are away at Swinton, and Warrington, last year's beaten finalists, have a very tough local derby against Widnes. Well, two teams bang in form for you tonight at the AJ Bell Stadium. Salford have won 7 of their last 8 Super League matches, the most recent of those against Wigan, but they have made some changes. In comes Junior Sow, who has missed the last 3 matches. Robert Louis and Michael Dobson are paired together for the 13th time this season. They are key to Salford's chances in the Challenge Cup. Lee Mossop returns after a 2-match absence. He's in the pack. Now keep an eye out for number 11, Ben Murdoch-Masilla. There is scarcely a better back rower playing the competition right now. He has scored again last week against Wigan, his 8th try of the season. And there's a welcome return on the bench for Weller Haraki, his first appearance of the season following injury. The coach is Ian Watson. And Hull Kingston Rovers, 14 wins in their last 15 league and cup matches. They disposed of Batley last time out, 68 points to 4, and have made changes. Thomas Minns comes into the left centre position to provide plenty of strike. Keep an eye out for Jake Butler-Fleming. 2 tries against Batley. He'll wear the number 29 shirt in his 3rd appearance for Rovers. Abdul and Ellis, the halves, once again. Now there's a return for Nick Scruton and Josh Johnson in the front row alongside Sean Lunt. That is the front row that played for Rovers in their Challenge Cup win over Super League opposition Lee. And on the bench, Liam Salter, Zach Docker-Clay, George Lawler and Rob Mulhern, coached by Tim Sheens, his 685th time in charge of a club side in rugby league. Well, they've got 1 Challenge Cup win apiece. Salford have to go way back to 1938. And Hull Kingston Rovers, 1980 for that victory, that famous victory inspired by player coach, the late great Roger Millward. 10 points to 5 over Hull FC. That never to be forgotten game by Hull Kingston Rovers fans. They will be hoping for a swift return to Super League. That is the task set to Tim Sheens. But an extended cup run would give them a very good idea of the strength of their squad. And if they were to get anything against the side of Salford's quality, they would feel themselves well positioned to return to the top flight. The Salford fans, well, they're pinching themselves at the season they are having, sitting 3rd in Super League at the moment, and a chance to progress into the quarterfinals of the Challenge Cup. And it's not that long ago since Rovers were at the big day itself. 2015, they made the Challenge Cup final, but it ended in tears as Leeds beat them 50 points to 0. Well, you don't know if they're better equipped. If they do get back to the final this year, Super League promotion has got to be their main aim, but they will not turn down a chance for a run in this glorious competition. Well, the weather has enjoy tonight's action, and you can enjoy the action too in the company of our commentary team. We've got John Wells, Terry O'Connor, and they're led by the first voice you'll hear, Bill Arthur.
Thanks, Brian. And a cracking atmosphere here at the AJ Bell. These Rovers supporters have certainly come in big numbers. The game on at their home ground back in Hull, but plenty of them have chosen to be here to get behind their side and have a good time as well. And they're hoping that they can see their sides redress the balance from last October. So many of them came up to us in the car park as we were coming into the stadium saying, don't mention the 1 point, as if we would. But it's two sides in great shape going into this game. Salford third in the table with 10 rounds remaining until the July split, on course to surpass the club's best ever Super League finish against the leaders of the Championship, Hull Kingston Rovers, who get their hands on the ball first.
Bill, you're going to see a highly motivated Hull KR side. They're going to give it everything they've got. They've just got to make sure that they can do it for 80 minutes. They need the third share of possession, and they've had that cutting edge in the Championship. They scored an average of 40 points. This side can score points. They need to defend very well against the team that there's only Castleford conceded less points than them in Super League.
Robert Hicks, referee tonight, and Phil Bentham, the video ref. And Sean Lunt, so much experience out there. There is some youth in this Rovers side, but with the likes of Lunt and Scruton playing that ball,
give 10, give 10.
There is lots of experience, and Jordan Abdul hoists that kick. Well claimed. Evolds coming across.
Great catch by Niall Evolds. As we see Junior Sow, first ever game on the wing, and that's testament as he gets a penalty given away by Johnson. That's testament to the quality of Evolds, who had to run a long way to defuse that bomb. Such as the form he's been in the last couple of weeks, that man forced out onto the wing.
Yeah, a bit of a selection dilemma for coach Ian Watson, with Evolds getting 2 tries in the first ever win at the DW Stadium last time out, and very hard to leave him out. Gareth O'Brien, hero of the £1 million game, having to settle for life on the bench. Junior Sow having to take a place on the wing, but he brings real potency, Junior Sow. He got a hat-trick against Hull Kingston Rovers last year in one of the games between the two sides, and it's Salford on the attack now with 21-year-old Ryan Lannon, who plays the ball. Logan Tompkins, and Tompkins drops the ball back, and Lee Mossop is tackled, turned on his back. So Rovers right on their own try line. Robert Louis, the danger man. They're going wide, and Wellham almost through. Chris Wellham, has he got the ball down? No, he hasn't. He knocked it on, and Chris Wellham so near to a try against his former club on his 30th birthday.
Well, they can create space, can't they? But it was excellent defence from Jordan Abdul, who just stops Chris Wellham. He hits a very good line, goes through the hole, but it's a good job the Hull KR standoff was there, Jordan Abdul.
Had to keep working right to the very end of that tackle as well. Wellham's a smart man, experienced campaigner. He knew there was momentum going towards that line. First blood, I guess, to that defensive left edge of Hull KR. Abdul showed up really well there.
Chris Wellham made 191 appearances for Hull Kingston Rovers, having debuted in 2006 as a teenager. And now here comes Minns, and Rovers break out, and Minns, has he got the pace? Couldn't get the pass away. Greg Johnson comes back to make the tackle. Quick play the ball. Rovers immediately countering and bursting through the middle with Cocaine. Cocaine is tackled.
That's how you play on the front foot, isn't it? Everyone pushing up here.
They're very much on the front foot now. They're only about 11 metres out, and Salford, having been hammering at their line, now backtracking to their own try line. Little grubber kick comes through, and booted dead by Johnson, and a sigh of relief from Salford there.
Bill, but that's the sign of a good side. They're under pressure. Jordan Abdul, the man who just dribbles the ball forward, he was the one who come up with the try-saving tackle. Thomas Minns, he was exceptional in that £1 million game. Look at him, he just buys time, he waits for the play of the ball to get them on the next set when Ben Cocaine goes through. Then it was Josh Johnson who comes up with a terrific drive, and all of a sudden it's just too quick for Salford to recover.
That's not the way that we saw this, or we anticipated the start of this game. We were talking just before we came on air, Terry, about how good the Salford side were around the ruck, how quickly they could steal a march on you as an opposition, how little time they give a defence to get organised, and the opposite is proving true at the moment. Great start by KR.
Scruton plays the ball about 25 metres out. Here goes Sean Lunt. Lunt turned on his back by opposite number Logan Tompkins. Jordan Abdul. Ben Kavanagh now playing it loose forward. Some big guys out there for Rovers in this starting pack. Here's Lunt. Ellis puts a little kick in. It's too strong. Too strong. He was looking for Ryan Shaw, but way over the top of his wingman. Yeah,
it wasn't the kick that he was looking for. Kicking in behind of Junior Sau, looking to get to Ryan Shaw. It needed to be a touch more delicate. A man of Jamie Ellis's professionalism and the games that he's had, that's just not good enough from him.
I like the way he's thinking, though. Jamie Ellis has seen his Junior Sau, as we said, first ever career game on the wing. Big man, so what is an asset for him in attack can be a liability in defence. Very slow to turn, or relatively slow to turn. Just overcooked the kick.
Lamatasi now up to the halfway line. Logan Tompkins, Dobson and Josh Jones, and Jones is immediately closed down by former Penrith junior Andrew Heffernan, one of the Tim Sheen's recruits, and Dobson spotting an opportunity. He had support, but he couldn't get the pass away. I wasn't alert to the fact that Ryan Lannon was there. Here's Robert Louis now. Louis, though, all wrapped up by Scruton, and that's the 5th tackle.
Hold, go.
Louis a real threat, as is the kicking of Dobson, and it's well claimed and taken in the air. Ryan Shaw.
Well, it's end to end, isn't it? Referee Robert Hicks thinks that this is a penalty, since that Ryan Shaw's taken out in the air. Yet both players can go up for that ball, but if Junior Sau makes contact with his opposite and pulls him down there, that is a clear penalty.
We've just picked Jamie Ellis up for an overcut kick to Junior Sau's wing in attack. Boy, he came up with a really important piece of defence a couple of moments ago as Dobson streaked through in that soft spot behind the ruck. Outstanding play. He's going to be an influential player in this game. I think Jamie Ellis certainly will have to be if Hull KR want anything out of this tie. Here you go. Just backs off. That's a really important tackle.
40-20 from Jordan Abdul over the top, and it hasn't got the legs. And Niall Evalds is back there to return it.
Well, how's that for a confident start? Opening 6 minutes, he chooses to kick the ball on the second play, and all of a sudden Hull KR have turned up with the right attitude. We know that they can score points, but they need to defend as well.
Not surprising they're confident given the season they've had. Just the one defeat, and that was with a weakened team in Toulouse, and that was only narrow. Otherwise, they've dominated the Kingston Press Championship. And their sights very much set on the middle eights, and what a threat they could be to the Super League contingent in that part of the season, this whole Kingston Rovers side. But it's Salford in possession at the moment, and Dobson, neat little kick into open space, and Ben Cockayne content to see that one dribble over the dead ball line.
Well, just too long from that man. Looking for a bit more of a delicate touch on it. He was kicked it long. Unfortunately, it goes out, so Hull KR will have 7 players here.
He was cheated out of an extra second there to compose himself for that kick. He's a great kicker. Ian Watson looking on at his team, a below par start for his team. The pressure from the inside came from Sean Lunt, by the way, person who has been excellent and will be again at the forefront of this charge from dummy half here for Hull KR.
Johnson plays the ball. Now it's with Nick Scruton, 32 years of age now, the former England international. Oh, and Ellis having to react to that. And is then dumped to the ground. The tackle from Lamatasi. He'll have felt that, Jamie Ellis. But Lamatasi again putting himself about, and that's well claimed.
Well, he doesn't hold back, does he, Lamatasi? But Niall Evalds again coming up with a decent catch under pressure. This is where Salford, I think, have got real strength. The back three in Greg Johnson, Junior Sau, Niall Evalds. They earn a penalty because you want to try and slow them down. Well, the extra effort that you do, the hit, you try and hold them up, you pin them to the ground, and you can just see as Hull KR are trying to work Greg Johnson over. He won't give up, he won't turn over onto his back, and all of a sudden the referee gives that penalty, the leaving penalty.
Takes great strength as well, particularly when the defenders have the levers. They have the advantage in many ways. So for you to keep your centre of gravity low, stay on your front, that's the difference between a quick play in a ball, or in this case a penalty, and really having the momentum stolen from you.
Scruton just slow to get to his feet after that tackle on Junior Sau. Logan Tompkins plays the ball in good form at the moment. Logan Tompkins. He missed the cup win against Toronto. The Wolfpack made it hard. Salford made it hard for themselves with Justin Carney sent off. Here's Ben Murdoch-Masila, first real sight of the big man, the big threat, and there's a bit of threatening going on off the ball there. Lamatasi. Thomas Minns tries to get a hold of him, but he won't have any of that. Here's Robert Louis, and Louis kick ahead. Oh, now then, Wellham, it's claiming that one, Chris Wellham. Claims he's got a hand to it. Robert Hicks thinks he might have a claim for it. Phil Bentham will have a look at this.
Well, he does well, doesn't he, to get on the end of this kick. Robert Louis, it comes off the back of a quick play of the ball. You can see, look, it's more or less a static line. He's got an awful lot of time, Robert Louis, the number 6 for Salford. The players don't know whether he's going to have a show and go. But does he ground this ball, Chris Wellham, against his former side? No. His hand goes over the ball, it definitely touches it, but he doesn't ground that ball.
Tell you what, though, he gave himself every chance, didn't he? Streaking between two Hull KR defenders, no downward pressure. This will be waved away, and timed the run as well from Robert Louis' kick to the millimetre. Gave himself every chance.
Robert Hicks thought it was a try. What does Phil Bentham reckon? Chris Wellham denied earlier on in this game by good defence. That time it's by the bounce of the ball, just getting away from him there.
Yeah. Just to be clear, there's no offence in here either.
I'm even looking at his right finger. I'm looking for downward pressure off Chris Wellham, and I just can't see it. He touches the ball, yes. Does he get downward pressure? Nah,
you can't get.
He doesn't get downward pressure.
Yeah, they're looking at how to restart play now, I think, and that. Well, the last hand there has come off.
It's Butler Fleming.
So this should be a dropout, really.
Robert Hicks waits for the call.
No try.
And it is tap restart on the 20. So all in all, pretty good result for Hull KR.
Yeah, well, it's a knock on by Chris Wellham, isn't it? He does do everything well. He follows up the kick. It was on. He's called for it. Told Robert Louis where he's going to be, and his speed nearly got him that try then.
Chris Wellham denied twice then in the opening 10 minutes of this game. And we still await the first point of the game. Quarter-final place at stake between these two sides.
Well, I expect plenty of traffic down that Hull KR left edge. It's Salford's go-to side in it. Murdoch-Masila, Louis the ball player, Wellham the line runner. Johnson scored a cracker against Wigan last week. Beautiful floated pass out from Niall Velds at fullback. And expect plenty of action that area of the field.
Scruton gets to his feet to play the ball. Here is Lunt, and now with Ben Kavanagh, Scottish international who moved to Hull Kingston Rovers from the Bradford Bulls on the last, and Ellis dinks that into the air, definitely targeting Junior Sow. I'm not sure I'd target Junior Sow for anything.
Well, he's not the biggest of wingers, is he? And the thing that Ryan Shaw, maybe there's a decent contest there, but even on them low-risk plays from Hull KR, then they made 50 metres off 5 straight-up carries. And you're right, I think that man, Junior Sow, might be under some pressure. But this is where he's strong again. Look at him. He's under pressure, and all of a sudden he puts himself where the action is.
Salford get the penalty. Not square, says Robert Hicks. Points the finger.
Well, again, is it the carry from Junior Sow? He goes in, he's very quick, he's explosive into defensive line, and all of a sudden Josh Johnson just can't get around to square up at marker.
Just that quarter of a second, isn't it, that they're getting done. And I think Robert Hicks will be telling his captain, you know, this is 3 or 4 now in a row. A couple conceded by that man on your screen, Johnson.
He's the issue, which is a bit strong, isn't it?
Perhaps.
Josh Johnson.
He certainly won't hold back the youngster. He rips in every carry. He's strong defensively, tries to intimidate anyone in an opposition shirt.
Ryan Lannon on the 30-metre line in the Hull KR half. Here's Lamatasi now back in the Salford fold after that season at St Helens. Now they're edging nearer to that Rovers try line. Put a pace into this attack, but good defence, and Dobson is all wrapped up. Robert Louis. Murdoch. Masilla plays the ball. Logan Tompkins. Louis moves into position. Dobson puts another kick in, and it's scooped up by Ellis. Ellis won't have the pace, but could somebody get on his shoulder? No, but he's taken Holkar up to the 40-metre line. And now it's with Ryan Shaw. Shaw back in field to Minns.
As soon as Jamie Ellis got that ball, he's looking for his teammates.
Ben Cockayne now. Cockayne trying to burst his way through. Dobson makes the tackle, supported by Jones. Lunt now. Lunt.
Everyone needs to push up. Sean Lunt, he's got out, he's had a look right. There's nothing on for him. He goes back left. No one's pushing up with him.
Is there something on now with Josh Johnson? That's the 5th tackle. Ellis just pointing to that corner, but Lunt goes in the other direction. Jordan Abdul puts the kick in, and the ball is battered down and then knocked on. And it was Docker Clay who climbed for it from Jordan Abdul's kick.
Well, you've got to credit both sides. In defence, they've been very good, close to their own line. They've been examined, and all of a sudden, they think the next thing that we'll have to do, we'll kick it over to the corner, we'll see if we can beat them in the air.
Butler Fleming it was, another of the hyphens. There's more hyphens in this match than there is in a varsity match.
The kick was good. This is the point I think that Tim Sheens will want to make. If you can get a message down there during this first half. The initial actions are good. Between that knockdown from Butler Fleming, there was no Hull KR player in support within 10 metres. And that'll be the disappointment. There's nobody following up.
James Webster alongside Tim Sheens had to endure the agonies after the £1 million. Oh, I mentioned it. The game at the end of last season in October.
You put a pound in the box. 14 minutes.
Pound in the box, Bill, please.
That's good defensive set from Hull Kingston Rovers, because Salford still inside their own half as Louis puts a really aimless kick. I think it's probably the best thing.
It's a nothing kick, isn't it? First of all, Lee Mossop come up with a strong carry, then Lamatasi. You think that the time, that the space that Robert Louis had, he will get a better kick away than that.
I think there's a chance he's done that on purpose so they can offer a set line of defence. And that's a show of respect there, I think, to their opposition. They've caused them problems coming out their own end. They've caused them the problems that we thought Salford would cause them.
Butler Fleming's just grimacing a bit. He's got that left knee heavily strapped.
Logan, move! Hold, Lee, hold. Hold for the foot, go.
Moving not so nimbly back to his wing.
2, move, get square.
The Hull Kingston Rovers probably having the better of the opening exchanges, even though Chris Wellham's had 2 tries disallowed.
I like what they're doing in the opening parts of the set, where it's just straight up the middle. It's players pushing up in support, and then the back end of the set, they're all trying to open it up.
Lunt.
5, move, go.
Again, Jordan Abdul. Again targeting Johnson. And again, Butler Fleming went for the ball. Jordan Abdul claiming the try.
The last tackle. Mate, I have got no try.
No try, says Robert Hicks. It looked like a knock-on from the Rovers wingman. Yeah. Jordan Abdul, as you should.
I think Butler Fleming, I think he drops this ball. He does get the height, and again, it's the low-risk players. They're making 50 metres per set, straight up the middle of the field, and all of a sudden, they get to the end of the set, they open it up, they come up with a kick, but I think that when Johnson's going for this ball, Butler Fleming gets above him.
Now then, do you want to rephrase that, Terry?
I still think that Butler Fleming touches this ball. I still think he touches it, John. I think it comes off his left hand.
Yeah, it's a hard one for Phil Bentham to call.
Yeah, when he goes up here, this was the angle that we initially saw in real time. And that's when it comes off his hand. You can see his hand bend back. I accept your apology, Mr. Wells.
When I was looking at a biog of Jake Butler Fleming ahead of this game from his Penrith juniors days, it said he's good in the air. And that's obviously something that they're working towards, but that time it didn't come off. Jordan Abdul, slightly optimistic there.
Well, they're asking questions. They're not going to be allowed in on this occasion, but they're asking questions. And that's why Tim Sheens will be the much happier of the two coaches.
Don't try, 20. This will be 0.
Back to the 20
Ball,
for the
please.
restart.
But they're getting into those field positions. They're giving themselves opportunities because the way and where they're turning the ball over. So Tim Sheens, with all the experience that he's got, he knows that his side are in a game here. Said earlier on, there's only Castleford that have got a better defensive record than Salford in Super League. So Hull KR have got to learn and look out to break them down. And decent line speed like that, good contact, taking them to ground, working, making it slower up will certainly help them.
Big game for that man there, playing the ball well, Haraki. His first of the season. He's been struggling to overcome a foot injury, which has taken some healing, and good to see him back in action. There he is, from a New Zealand Maori international, Lamatasi.
He's been good. He's 17 tackles he's made in the opening 16 minutes, Lamatasi.
Ryan Lannon has lost that ball.
Well, making a mistake, puts his hand up, he acknowledges to his teammates that he's got through, he's poked his nose through the line. Yeah, there was a hand there from Jamie Ellis, but he's got to make sure that he's got a better grip of that ball. Whenever you go into a tackle, you're going to have arms around you. And Ian Watson will be making notes. He's going to be looking at the replays, seeing where his team have been going well, where there's some things that they must improve on.
That's the first mini breakthrough they've had in defence. You remember the ends to the last 3 or 4 sets in defence for Hull KR have been conceding penalties. They've come up there, a little bit of gamesmanship from the man with the ball, Ellis, but you know, Ryan Lannon's responsibility to keep possession. They're asking questions.
Lunt with the break, and there's nobody at home. And Sean Lunt, can he go all the way? Look at the chase coming back from Murdoch Masilla, but Lunt has caught them all napping. He's just about out on his feet. It's the Rovers hooker, but he was off. And Tim Sheen's team get the first points on the board. And I'm not sure Sean Lunt can believe what opened up for him there.
Well, he's got so much influence on this side, Sean Lunt. He's been a fabulous campaigner wherever he's played. Certainly wears his heart on his sleeve. And as you said, Bill, when it opens up, but here's the mistake. And then as soon as they make the mistake here, all of a sudden, Hull KR, who've completed at 100%, they've not made a mistake. Michael Dobson just opens it up. He's looking at the sideline. He's expecting him to get out and pass that ball to a player in a better position with more speed. As soon as he opens it up, he shows him the inside. Then Josh Jones can't get there. And he's looking at Michael Dobson saying, what have you done? And there's only Ben Murdoch-Masilla who's trying to prevent him score that try. But Sean Lunt, take a bow, sir.
He spotted it and he's gone for it. As Sean Lunt, we said he was going to be influential. The second time that Salford have been completely split, clean break directly from a scrum. They've been slowly working and getting the upper hand. Dobson regrouping. I don't think it was entirely his fault, to be honest. I think Josh Jones was slow out of that scrum, maybe taking an extra second and not able to fill that gap once Sean Lunt had sold the dummy. But Hull Kingston Rovers aren't bothered. They take the lead. Still in the opening quarter of the game. What a start.
Jamie Ellis to see if he can tag on the 2 points from that Sean Lunt try, his third in the Challenge Cup. He's bang on target. And there is very experienced 31-year-old hooker, Challenge Cup experience, albeit as a losing finalist.
Well, Dobson and Josh Jones having words in the background. Dobson, I understand why there's weight in that left leg, why he feels like he needs to go out, because they put an extra number on that short side. But Josh Jones, maybe just that second, or at the very least, the communication between the two.
The Rovers supporters jubilant. Early days yet, just coming up to the conclusion of the first quarter of this game, just 6 points to nil. Bizarrely, in last night's Featherstone-Halifax game, the first try of the game came on 17 minutes from Ben Heaton. 17 minutes here tonight.
2 decent games on Sky Sports. We've witnessed Hull KR getting a penalty. See Salford again, just trying to win those early plays, earn that field position through the defence. Make sure that you attack, and as soon as a player lands on his front, you know that he's going to bounce back up So you've got to try and make that ruck a bit more messier for him.
This could start to become a problem for the hosts this evening, because a team playing with confidence, doesn't matter what division you're in, and Hull KR rightly see themselves as Super League quality.
And then you pulled him. I'm not continuing.
Well, back-to-back penalties here.
Yeah, they're losing the composure a little, the Red Devils.
So I believe you run hard into contact, you get rewarded. Ben Kavanagh's got one of the quickest play the balls in the championship. The way that he runs onto the ball, he strikes his left leg out, so he can get up quickly and push off that left leg and get up, play the ball. Shows that they're under pressure though here, Bill.
Yeah, Sean Lunt leisurely run across the middle of the field, just organising things. Scruton plays the ball. Lunt urging his teammates on. Jordan Abdul, short pass from him, and Maurice Blair is tackled. Then Murdoch Nasilla, his opposite number, doing the duty. Jordan Abdul, in seasons-long loan from Hull FC, provides the pass. Lunt fancies a second maybe. It's close range for Blair, but Blair is tackled just short of the try line. Abdul will kick cross field. Shaw will go up for it. It's batted down and picked up by Josh Jones. And it was a knock-on. Sure, there was a Salford knock-on. There it is. It's head and feed to Hull Kingston Rovers.
It's by that man, Junior Sal, the winger. As you quite rightly said, Bill, again, targeting the winger, but this time on the left side for Salford. The ball goes up in the air. He makes a play for it. Comes off his left arm. Ryan Shaw is in the vicinity yet again.
Is Shaw not going for Junior Sal?
Well, I think when he goes up for the ball, he's going in the air, he's trying to catch the ball. All of a sudden, the ball goes behind him. You can see that he's got his arm. That's a fair contest for me.
Head Sean.
Contentious, but potentially contentious. Oh,
there it is again.
Lunt has got a second. He's caught and cold again. If at first you do succeed, then do it again. And Sean Lunt has done just that.
We're going to have to see a replay of this, though, because there are some real protestations from the captain, Dobson.
Robert Hicks has awarded the try.
He was screaming for him to go to the video referee. He thought that he'd been impeded, but again, it looked like they were shorter numbers on that left side. And Sean Lunt couldn't believe it when it opens up again. Michael Dobson, look, he must be nervous here. And he's calling for Jamie Ellis, because Jamie Ellis is stood in the frame. So the back rower, when you see here, can't break from the scrum. The scrum half puts it in, then he backs into Josh Jones. And I think he's got a fair call, Michael Dobson, to ask the referee to go to the video referee because they were obstructed. I think that's a fair call. But Sean Lunt, well, the first one, it was 60 metres, 70 metres. This time, just 10 metres. They had the numbers, but I feel if that would have gone upstairs, it would have been disallowed.
Well, his old man, Sean Lunt's got the try, and he'll take the gap that opens up in front of him. But Jamie Ellis has old-manned this Salford defence again.
Is that gamesmanship?
He knew exactly what he was doing. The man who's placed the ball now, who's going to kick it. As soon as he's put the ball in the scrum, he's backed off, and he's gone to the Salford side of the scrum.
Salford feeling very aggrieved as they await Jamie Ellis's kick at goal. Sean Lunt got 2 tries in the cup win against Sheffield. He's got 2 more here tonight already.
Well, the 2 most influential men on the field are the try scorer, he's brace, inside 25 minutes, and the man who's about to add on the extras, Jamie Ellis, for entirely different reasons.
Skullduggery from Hull Kingston Rovers number 7, Jamie Ellis, who adds 2 more points. They lead here at the AJ Bell Stadium by 12 points to 0.
Jamie Ellis actually moves into an offside position, can we call it that? Certainly impedes Josh Jones moving out the scrum. Number 7 disappears to the right of your screen. Yep, he impedes Josh Jones. Sean Lunt's not complaining, neither of the Hull KR fans. They found their voice. What a start by Hull KR. Really confident play, really confident side. And Salford are rattled.
And this is a Rovers side missing several first choice players. Chris Clarkson, Danny Addy, Adam Quinlan, Matty Marsh And James Donaldson, and good luck to James Donaldson on his recovery from his latest operation, ACL repair. Underwent surgery, and the guy doesn't get much luck, but wish him all the best for his recovery from that one.
There's a little warrior as well, isn't he? Hull KR have looked good. Again, getting to the kick, they kick it off the pitch. Still not made a mistake in this game. And they're doing that against the Salford side at full of confidence. They've won 8 of the last 9 in League and Cup. And in those victories, they beat Cass, they beat Saints, they beat Hull, they beat Wigan. Hull KR have turned up and they want to defend. Simple players are getting them the rewards today.
Tim Sheens sending down the instructions. And Willie Poaching had a time at Hull Kingston Rovers on the coaching staff there, alongside Ian Watson, studying that laptop again. But it's 2 tries conceded because they weren't alert to the threat that Sean Lunt poses, and he's been around long enough, Sean Lunt.
He knows exactly how to break down defences, doesn't he, Sean Lunt? He will react to what the defence is doing. If someone jumps the line, creates that space, he'll take those opportunities. He's a tough little warrior, the Cumbrian hooker.
I admire what he did at the end of last season as well, and showed some real loyalty when I'm sure there would have been more than a handful of Super League sides giving him the chance to continue his career in the top flight, and he chose to stick with the team that had got demoted. I think there's an awful lot of credibility and admiration for somebody who does something like that.
Dobson just pushing Hull Kingston Rovers back into that corner. They need a bit more than that to Salford.
Well, it starts with little steps, doesn't it? Get to the end of the set, get a kick, put Hull KR down the centre of the field. Although having said that, it's not an area of the field that they've been scared of starting sets from. They've really been taking some metres off the home side. And this is a handy lead, this now, as we approach the half-time, the half-hour mark.
2011, the last time these two sides met in a Challenge Cup game. That was at the Willows. And Justin Morgan's side cruised to a 25-0 victory. Well, they're cruising pretty much here. 12-0 they lead.
Any time that they can get around where Michael Dobson is, where he's defending, they'll send numbers there. They've created 2 tries on Salford's left edge. Whenever they can send some bigger fellas, some big artillery at him, they will do.
James Greenwood didn't like the treatment he was getting there.
There's a lot to like about the structure of the start to Hull KR's game. They may have conceded a couple of penalties that have given up a few yards, but they've made 98% of the tackles. They're taking meters out of the opposition, and they've got to the end of every single set, as they do here again. That's important. That starts to play its role as fatigue starts to set in towards the end of the half.
Ellis not totally happy with that kick. I think he wanted it a bit further downfield.
Well, he doesn't get the distance, but it's the right outcome, isn't it? And Jamie Ellis and Jordan Abdul are having a big influence, along with the hooker Sean Lunt. You've got to be, if you're Tim Sheens looking at your Hull KR plays, you're going to rotate your subs. You know that there's going to be a reaction from Salford. Robert Louis, Michael Dobson, Niall Evans, Gareth O'Brien, they're all going to have a big influence, but they're offside here now. Hull KR didn't go back to the 10, so the referee, Robert Hicks, gives the penalty away. You can see it straight away.
Andrew Heffernan, another former Penrith junior, recruited by Hull Kingston Rovers. And they have to trot back towards their own try line. And Salford will try again. They've been denied twice. On both occasions, Chris Wellham was close to opening the scoring in this game, but that didn't work. Here's Olsi Krasnicki. Bang in front of those posts, about 25 metres out, but good defence. Stops Ryan Lannon. Big group of Rover supporters behind them, and look at that work from Scruton.
That's positive defence, isn't it? Positive defence.
Scruton on Mossop, the 2 number 8s going at each other. Back inside from Robert Louis. Found Krasnicki, who plays the ball. Here is Louis once more. Puts a little kick in, and it comes up for Hull. Hull Kingston Rovers once again.
Well, just cut down the thinking time of Robert Louis. Get off the line, don't wait for him to make his play or drop the ball to his boot. You can see that, look at the pressure that he's under. I think it was Josh Johnson, the prop forward, who gets in his eye line, throws his body at him. And they don't get the kick that they want.
That all started in the middle of the field, didn't it, with the other bookend, Nick Scruton, really coming up out of the line, but timing it really well and removing an awful lot of momentum from that Red Devils outfit. And they've yet to settle. The Red Devils have yet to settle in this game.
Rob Mulhern off the bench for Hull Kingston Rovers plays the ball, and Jordan Abdul just drills that down the sidelines.
Let's see, yet another set completed. 100% as we approach the half-hour mark.
And you might think, what does this do to you if you're a Salford player? But it deflates you when you know that the teams just keep getting to the end of the set. They kick the ball behind. You've got to walk to the scrum. It's just relentless pressure.
Is it not a bit like a batsman playing safe and just dead batting a delivery, though? Should you not be being a bit more adventurous if you're in the ascendancy?
Well, you're 12-0 up, though, so you just keep the pressure on. It's Salford that have got to win this game now.
And they're doing it easily as well. They're getting to the end of the sets easily. Very little kick pressure coming from Salford. You just keep taking it while it's there. It's a great game plan. They don't need to go out and score any more points at this stage, because it's hard to see with the enthusiasm they're showing in defence where Salford are going to suddenly spring 2 tries from.
Well, Weller Haraki will try and do something about that. Gets a quick play the ball. Craig Kopczak, as ever, coming off the bench. So many of his career games have been from that venue, and Kopczak has fumbled that play the ball. He's furious with himself, the former Wales captain.
Making a mistake. Yeah, there were bodies around him, but he's got to have a better control of this ball. Craig Kopczak
trying too hard. Ian Watts will be very disappointed. Trying too hard, Kopczak, to keep that momentum, get a quick play the ball, allow Dobson to kick off the front foot.
I'm still looking for the Tongan powerhouse, Ben Murdoch-Masila. I think he's been quiet in this game.
Very quiet, yeah.
He averages 3 tackle busts per game, and he's just... They need to give him the ball. They need to give him early ball. Let him set his line.
Time off.
Referee Robert Hicks has called the touch judge over.
Touch judge on the other side, but again, Hulkey targeting Salford's left.
Have a look at Weller Haraki here. Mulhern is looking hard done by. Far side of your scrum. There's some action there.
Oh, there's a punch swung by the look of things.
Well, he would have been a young lad, Rob Mulhern, coming through the system when Weller Haraki was at Leeds. So he knows him.
Okay, all right. We're pushing on the right side of the scrum.
Frustration.
Okay.
Well, is it just who wants to get the head in the scrum? You can see Rob Mulhern all over Weller Haraki. Look, he won't give up his arm. Won't give up his head. It's a little dink into the ribs first of all, then a little push.
Right, something and nothing, isn't it? That?
No, mate. Your players are holding as much as
you've done worse than that to me today, says.
Penalty for Weller Haraki for striking, says Robert Hicks to Salford's captain Michael Dobson. Not a lot going right for the Red Devils at the moment.
It's a little nudge that's saying, look, don't take the mick out of me. It's our head. That's all I want.
Have a little respect, you whippersnapper.
Yeah, that's the one, Bill.
But none given.
And look at that, there you go for the youngster, running and picking Weller Haraki straight out. I like that sort of character in any young player.
Well, Salford on the back of that, under pressure once more from this rampant Rovers team who lead by 12 points to 0 in this Challenge Cup. And Jordan Abdul, the pass is not a good one, and Minns is held as he went for that one. They'll get another penalty.
Yeah. Again, more pressure on Salford. They started so brightly with that man, Chris Wellen, but all of a sudden, Hull KR have just put the ball up the jumpers. I'm sure they'll go for 2 points here. The ball goes out the back. Ben Cockayne pulls out to that ball. He doesn't want it. Thomas Minns wasn't going to get that ball. And Salford, knowing that they wanted to try and get hold of possession and get some decent field position, they just took Hull KR back.
Once again, it's naive.
Is that a little shake of the head from Ian Watson?
Yeah, because they'd be upset with the two little actions there. First of all, from Wella Haraki in the scrum, which was something and nothing, which gave Hull KR the territory and the possession. Well, it's certainly more territory. And then Chris Wellen, which naive, I think you would describe that challenge as, on Thomas Mins. And it's a free 2 points to somebody of a quality of the kicker of Jamie Ellis.
Yes, he's been in good form with the boots. Another player on a season-long loan, Jamie Ellis. He's come from Huddersfield for this championship campaign. It's a Challenge Cup campaign that Hull Kingston Rovers have focused on tonight. They want to extend into the quarter-finals of the competition. And Ellis, meat and drink for a kicker of his expertise. 14-0 with half-time approaching.
I talked in glowing terms about how good Salford's defence has been this year, but in this game, Hull KR, they've only missed 2 tackles. They've been brutal when they've been hitting. They've been turning Salford on the back whenever they can. Salford need to up the pace of this game now. They're the team not dictating the pace at the minute.
No, we've seen some blistering play from Salford this season. They really do tear in to their opponents, but they've been a bit lethargic by their standards so far tonight.
Yeah, yes, they have, and they haven't found any kind of rhythm, but I also think you need to play massive credit to the opposition, because they've raised their game, obviously, from the championship level, with all due respect to what they've been doing to teams in the championship. They've not allowed Salford on their own midden to find any kind of rhythm in the game. And that's a huge, been a huge part of why they're 14 points to 0 in the lead.
James Greenwood plays the ball. Brother Joe doing well with Gold Coast Titans after his move to the NRL. Ellis, that's a good kick. Under a bit of pressure that time.
If you play against Hull KR, and I'm sure championship teams would try and break them down every week, early plays are all just nice and basic. Let's get to the kick. We know we've got Jamie Ellis, who can kick the ball anywhere. We know we've got Jordan Abdul on the left side controlling the plays and the kicking game.
This would start to annoy me now. If I was a member of the back three of Salford, and my game was based around Niall Lavelles, Greg Johnson, Junior. Totally taking that away from Salford, totally taking away any momentum they can generate from the start of the game.
And that has come from the head coach, Tim Sheens, because he knows the strength of the back three of Salford. Kick the ball out of field and let's defend the next set.
There he is. Talk about experience, although he won't be happy to see his side concede the penalty there.
And that's one of the penalties that they'll get from the back three, who refuse to go down, who just play off the speed that they've got. They're a quick side when they go forward, Salford, but it's getting forward that's been the problem for them. Here he goes.
First chance really for Ben Murdoch-Masila to show his pace, but Rovers managed to stop his progress. Here's Craig Kopchak now, Mulhern in there, and Josh Johnson to make the tackle. Wella Haraki now. Haraki brought down by Greenwood and Lawler. Chris Brining off the bench. Here's Robert Louis now. Louis, Blair though, last year's player of the year at Hull Kingston Rovers, stops his progress. Brining gets the pass away to Kopchak. Kopchak finds Dobson. Dobson to Niall Evalds, and Evalds trying to weave his way through. Good tackle though that time, right in front of those posts, and Dobson's put a little kick in, and they are in for the first time of the game, and it's Ryan Lannon who gets Salford on the board at last. And the first time Salford have really clicked in attack. There was a bit of pace about that, and Ian Watson just sends down the message, we need more of that. Ryan Lannon, one of the younger members of the side, gets his first try of the season.
Well, Salford are a dangerous side. Again, it's the kicking game, but this time from Salford. When Michael Dobson goes at the line, he pulls the defenders up when he goes so close to it, and then Ryan Lannon, he's got to be brave, knowing that Ryan Shaw is going to be in his eye line. He's going for the ball as well. but the powerful back rower gets the try, and this is what Salford need.
Kicking into space as well, I think that's a key part of that. The tackle before, Niall Evold had come back on the inside, committed Ben Cockayne, the KR fullback, is unable to clear himself from the ruck. Dobson spots that, kicks for the try, about to kick for the extra 2.
As he did so often for Hull Kingston Rovers in his time there, he holds Rovers Super League points record in actual fact. 1,215, and he's given the Salford fans something to cheer about at last, setting up the try for Lannon and then converting it.
Yeah, it was Evold at the start of that, really committed the fullback. Dobson was aware to the facts, communicated to that man on your screen, Ryan Lannon. He's been ubiquitous in this first half. Real workhorse, put himself everywhere, put himself about. Credit to him. Salford on the board, it's taken them long enough.
Ryan Lannon got his first ever Salford try against Hull Kingston Rovers in 2015 in the qualifiers. And he's got their first try of the night here.
Good shot. And that was Josh Johnson, the number 35. Said before, he rips in. Wow, we didn't hold back on Krasnicki then.
James, hold this 10, hold, go.
So Salford get the lift they needed just before half-time.
That's 3, go.
And here's Chris Wellham, had 2 try attempts denied. But they get there in the end. And they're on the board, and now it's Josh Jones, and Jones had Junior Sauer outside him, couldn't get the pass away.
Yeah, great decision by Ryan Shaw. He was hesitating for a moment, and he's made a great read to come back in. Cockayne puts a foot to it. Take possession, take the tackle, see out this half. That'll be the message.
Last minute of the first 40. And Cockayne takes his time.
They won't be rushing this set now. Whether it be 4 or 5 scoots, and then I think you'll see Jordan Abdul or Jamie Ellis just stepping up. And again, talked about the completion rate, still not to make a mistake in the first half. As Marwan Kukash comes down and looks on.
Greenwood offloads. George Lawler. Sean Lunt, hero of the first half. 1-pointer, and Ellis well wide of the target. Final kick of that first half then. Trying to return the compliments after last October. Tim Sheen's down to the sideline, must be pretty satisfied with the effort of his side in the first 40 minutes. But Sean Lunt, instrumental in a good first half for this Hull Kingston Rovers side. 14-6 they lead, but Salford finding a way through a big defensive lead
on Sky Sports.
We hope you can join us next weekend on Sky Sports. 12 Super League teams, 6 matches, and 2 days of guaranteed entertainment. We start at 2 p.m. on Sky Sports 2, 12:30 p.m. on Sunday on Sky Sports Mix. A brilliant weekend ahead. We have got quite a brilliant 6th round Ladbrokes Challenge Cup match here at the AJ Bell Stadium, where Tim Sheens has brought his Hull Kingston Rovers side to town, and they lead 14 points to 6 at half-time. Can Salford Red Devils, riding high in Super League, recover this half-time deficit? Find out now in the company of our commentary team, John Wells, Terry O'Connor, but first, Bill Arthur.
Second half just about to get underway. Robert Hicks has everything ready, and Hull Kingston Rovers defending this 14-6 lead. They won here 29-12 in the Middle Eights qualifiers in August. Then, of course, came that rematch in October. This Challenge Cup tie with a quarter-final place at stake. And Hull Kingston Rovers, one of the form teams in the land, of course, top of the championship table, Salford third in the Super League table. So 2 teams in great shape at the moment, but Rovers have been in much better shape in this game so far. Salford coming out and playing with more pace than we saw from them in the first 40 minutes.
Nice and direct from Salford. They came up, they've got a point to prove as well. Haraki looks for the offload to Dobson.
Dobson then finds Robert Louis. Well, Haraki was looking around for a moment there. Where were you?
But again, nobody's pushing up. You've got to anticipate that break, anticipate what your teammate can do. A high kick here.
Very nearly a mix-up at the back, but Cockayne made that his.
He's got all the experience, hasn't he, in the world, Ben Cockayne. He's brave as well as Ryan Shaw. Comes from the wing, tries to take it forward. Look at that. Nice little pirouette at the end again.
Terry, what do you say, if you're Ian Watson, what do you say at half-time to a side that they're only 8 points behind, but they have not played well at all?
I believe, lads, that they're getting schooled in the middle. They know what Hull KR are doing. It's nice and simple. As we said in the first half, get into the set, and Salford just haven't been able to live with it.
Rovers running it on the last, and the pass goes into touch. The first time they've really chanced their hand. Well, let's find out what was really said at half-time. Let's join Angela Powers.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. The assessment from Ian Watson, the Salford coach, was that first half was poor. Disappointed with the way that Salford were dominated by Rovers, and he wasn't happy with their completion rates either. Salford were in the 50s, he said. Rovers in the 80s. They'd been anticipating all week Rovers' game plan, knowing what they'd bring out to Salford with them, but failed to deal with it. Expecting an altogether more positive effect in this second half, taking control rather than giving it to the opposition. Tim Sheens for Hull KR, well, you can imagine he was quite happy. He said they'd won the half, but nowhere near won the battle. More of the same, dominate field position, stay with the game plan.
Here's Ben Murdoch-Masilla now. They've managed to keep him quiet so far, the big man, but just smouldering he is. Oh, Kopczak up the middle! The try machine has got over again! Craig Kopczak, there's no stopping him at the moment. He got 2 tries against Rovers last year. And he's on the scoreboard again tonight, and Craig Kopczak thundering onto that pass. And that is exactly what Salford wanted at the start of this second half.
Tim Sheens' message to his men, stick to the game plan. That was complete your sets, 100% in the first half. First time they failed to do that. And what a delayed ball, and a great line from Craig Kopczak. An immediate response from the home team.
Credit Salford though in defence. They were the team that forced that mistake. Hull KR trying to play outside. That's how you come onto the ball. Craig Kopczak hits a very good, aggressive, tight line off Robert Louis. Goes through, steps off his left, beats Ben Cockayne. Here's the kick now.
Dobson bang on target, and that's 12 points either side of half-time for this Salford Red Devils side.
Bill, we said earlier on that Murdoch-Masilla had been quiet. He's the man who played the ball, sets up this play, and Craig Kopczak, he looks too cool when he gets that ball. He's a big, powerful prop forward. He's got some speed, and that young lad will be celebrating now.
Well, I think he dropped his chips. It was a great, unrecognisable start from Salford, given what they've been subjected to, these Salford fans, in the first 40 minutes.
I thought you were going to say unrecognisable chips. Craig Kopczak got 2 tries against the black and whites of Hull this year. And now on the score sheet against Hull Kingston Rovers. And Salford very much back in this game, and it's their supporters who are more vocal at the moment, and they get the penalty. Amazing transformation in this game at the start of the second half.
But more energy, more effort from Salford. Greg Johnson, we talked about him in the first half, about how he explodes into tackle. His leg drive, his acceleration.
Over the line, keep going.
He won't give up his legs. He won't give up and turn onto his back, and he earns so many penalties for this Red Devil side.
Chris Wellham now, the birthday boy. And here is the try scorer, most recent, Craig Kopczak. Plays the ball. Weller Haraki. Glad to get some game time. It's been a frustrating comeback from injury. Chris Brining. And Salford have come out of the dressing rooms after half-time with renewed purpose. And Junior Sow, Ellis was high.
Well, that's it. As soon as they passed that ball to Junior Sow, he knew that he was going to the sideline. Josh Jones gives it him running out of space, and Jamie Ellis, with his hips pointed to the sideline, comes up with that high shot.
Here is Olsi Krasnicki, former London Broncos, London Scholars player, converted into a loose forward at Salford at the moment. Louis now, Haraki again, and Salford are running hot just at the moment. Brining, Robert Louis. Louis bounces off the first attempted tackle. Cocaine comes for him and manages to halt his progress with the aid of Lawler. Dobson. Lannon, that's good defence. It's Mulhern with the tackle. Louis again, they're very quick to close him down. Abdul really quickly up on the Red Devils. Number 6. Brining on the last. They're running it, and Murdoch Masilla can't make any progress. Good defence from Holkear.
Terrific response, and it was a really important set of defence. They had to consolidate, try and get themselves back in the game, and the next challenge, Terry's going to be complete in this set.
This is a real big set for them, Nick, because now Salford have upped the ante in the second half. They're all flying out. There's Lone Rangers just trying to get a shot on a Hull KR player. The sense blood now built. 2 points behind on the scoreboard, but definitely the team that's going forward.
Well, it's Hull Kingston Rovers who are trying to go forward at the moment with Josh Johnson. And Abdul goes for a 40-20, but Evolds is across to gather the ball.
Good line from Hull KR. There's 5 players there in Evolds' eye line. Don't give a penalty away on the next man who's carrying the ball, Greg Johnson. He bounces across, he looks for the space, he goes straight between 2 prop forwards. There's the opposite winger.
Junior Sow. There's no subtlety about Junior Sow. He just put his shoulder in there as though he was battering on a barn door. Chris Wellham up to the 30-metre line, and they get the penalty.
Yeah, Ben Cocaine, who's all over Chris Wellham, and again it comes off Greg Johnson, then it comes off Junior Sow, then this man. Nice and direct, they're not running sideways across the line.
I'm not talking about the penalty. You're losing too many rucks and making too many second efforts.
And Robert Hicks just passes on a warning to Rovers via their captain.
And he's just told them, then you're losing far too many rucks. He's telling them exactly what to do. You've got to make sure you clean up the rucks. Don't give those penalties away. Come on, lads, you've got to tackle harder than that.
Keep coming.
Penalty has Rovers backtracking. There was a call for go for 2 from some of the Salford supporters, but they're on a roll at the moment. They've been doing all the scoring either side of half-time.
Robert Louis looking for some options. He gives it to Krasnicki as they set up. Over on the left with Louis on the right.
Chris Brining, and Brining fires the pass to Dobson. Quick hands. Josh Jones. Jones out wide to Junior Sow, and Sow will try and use his strength, but there's strength from the Rovers defenders there. Caught a boot in the face. There's a shove on him as he tried to play the ball. Carry on, says the referee. Kopczak. Gallant defence from Rovers at the moment. Can they withstand this onslaught that's coming their way? The pass goes backwards. Louis does well to retrieve it, but Evolds is gobbled up, and that's the 5th tackle. Louis, little grubber kick, and they'll get the ball back.
Wow, more pressure here. The kicking game certainly causing problems.
Johnson, that scurrying step, and Cocaine barges into him, putting him back. There you go. So the pressure is all on the Robins at the moment.
Yeah, they're responding to it, though. They're responding to that pressure.
Chris Brining. Brining can't get the pass away. Cocaine it was, and Lunt doing the tackling. Kopczak. Dobson fires the pass out. Haraki, oh, the pass was behind Junior Sow. Haraki had made the first dent, but Junior Sow overrun that.
Well, a couple of Hull KR players shot the line. I think it's Heffernan. He comes out the line, he tries to close Weller Haraki down. The scramble defence from Hull KR has been absolutely exceptional. But as soon as Weller Haraki steps off his left foot, if that's a cleaner pass to Junior Sow, does he score that try?
Oh, I blame Junior Sow, and I think he blames himself as well. He's a centre playing on the wing. Speed is not his asset, his strength is his asset. You don't need that extra yard. He got himself up too flat. You know, give Wella Haraki the opportunity, or Josh Jones the opportunity to find you with a ball. You're strong enough to carry Ryan Shaw over the line with you. It's an opportunity missed, is that, for Salford. And Hull KR breathe.
Well, they're struggling to get out of their own half at the moment. Hull Kingston Rovers having to do a lot of defensive work.
Move, get square, Ryan. Hold, wait.
But they're working their way upfield now. Greenwood.
3, move, Josh.
Well, now that Salford are getting off the line with real purpose, you've just got to keep doing your job. Keep taking that ball forward. You know you're going to be hit by a couple of red shirts every time you get the ball.
And this is a complete turnaround from Hull Kingston Rovers in the second half. So good in the first 40.
Well, that man who was behind the play of the ball, Sean Long, flawless in that first half when he was getting out, engaging the markers, looking to isolate certain players. They made a mistake, they threw the ball into touch. Now just a simple flick up from behind the ruck. It's not good enough from that man, is it, Sean Long? He'll be disappointed.
It's also the difference. See what happens when a bit of pressure is applied. Salford have woken up. Tim Sheens will be wanting his men just to settle. They're going to be tested again here in defence. I think they've just about got away with it by the skin of the teeth. But Salford very much in the ascendancy, if not on the scoreboard. Certainly with the way in which they've started this half. The first 10 minutes have been all Red Devils.
Scrum's a bit of a schmozzle, and Robert Hicks wants to bring a bit of order to proceedings.
Stand up, you need to bind as a front row. You need to bind as a front row. Let's get ready.
He wants the hookers to put their arms around the prop forwards.
It's full of tips this evening, isn't he?
Yeah.
Brining, Brining makes the break, and Brining has got the legs for the corner, and it's exactly what happened for Hull Kingston Rovers in the first half. This time it's Chris Brining, their hooker, who's made the break. There was something after he'd got the ball down. Salford didn't like it, but Chris Brining gets the try.
Oh, well, Ben Cockayne was in the thick of it. He's a competitor, the number 2 for Hull KR.
Try is awarded after all that. First Challenge Cup try for the former York player Chris Brining, who got a cup hat-trick for York against the Lee Miners in 2015.
Well, Ian Watson, the Salford coach, who must be a contender for Coach of the Year, must have had up on the big screen, look lads, this is what we need to do in the second half. Anytime we get a scrum, let's go from the back of the ruck. And Chris Brining shows his pace, exactly the same play that we saw Sean Lunt benefit from scoring 2 tries. Salford have done the same.
Chris Brining, 23 years of age, has been in for the last 3 games, including the cup win against Toronto. And he's got his first Challenge Cup try, got a couple in Super League this season, and Michael Dobson, 2 from 2 so far, but this is the most difficult he's had to kick. Oh! Could that prove crucial as it hits the woodwork, but Salford lead.
Well, this is Lunt. First try directly from the scrum. It's become something of a theme this evening. Opened his legs up. He wasn't the only side to do it, as we witnessed Brining again direct from the scrum. Maybe a hint that Greenwood was held in by his opposition, but Brining won't care.
But Robert Hicks had been insistent on the scrum being packed properly, hadn't he?
Correctly, yeah. Well, he certainly took control, hasn't he, the referee, in this game. He's talking to the players, he's working with the players.
Did that play into Brining's hands?
No, they would have been the back rowers, so not the front row who he was telling to bind. It would have been the back rowers that needed to break quicker. So the players who were the second row, they needed to get out quicker on that right edge.
Well, they weren't quick enough to stop Chris Brining, and Salford have really turned this around. They scored at the end of the first half to get on the scoreboard, and they've done all the scoring so far in the second half, and from 14-0 down, they now lead by 16 points to 14. And Hull Kingston Rovers just can't cope, and Lannan is away! Oh, he was celebrating too soon!
He was waving at the fans behind the sticks.
But they'll get the penalty and they'll lose a player to the sin bin, will Hull Kingston Rovers.
I think Lannan might have pulled his hamstring as well. He clutches it straight away.
There's all sorts going on here. There's a hamstring injury to Lanning. There's the premature celebration. There's a sin bin in.
Jake Butler Fleming.
Oh dear.
He's waved at the fans, then he's touched the badge, and then he falls over, the poor lad. Oh, he was reading that in the paper tomorrow morning. That's what I've done. Look at this. It says my name. I scored a belter.
That's a classic. The break itself. The break
look
itself.
Who makes the tackle. Nick Scruton.
Wow. The break itself. I think Greenwood has torn something. There's a bad injury in back play which led to the break. Lannon's clutching his arm. Robert Hicks decides there's a professional foul. But as I remember the start of the break, I think Greenwood has overextended something here.
It's Jake Butler Fleming, who I think has gone to the sin bin. Well, what a frantic passage of play that was. It's going to culminate in 2 more points for Salford. It should have been 6. And that's a bad sight. He's getting oxygen, is Joe Greenwood, is James Greenwood.
It's not a good sight. All of a sudden, you can see Lannan, and he goes through. Oh, just gets his right leg caught underneath him. When Lannan goes through, initially you didn't see James Greenwood go down because you're looking at what Lannan's doing on the break. You're looking at his reaction to the fans, and fingers crossed for that man. But that man, Butler Fleming, 10 minutes in the sin bin for the professional foul on the number 15, Ryan Lannan, for Salford.
It just goes to show you as well, doesn't need to be much, does it? There wasn't an awful lot in that, but it was a professional foul, and that's going to put an awful lot of pressure on the rest of his teammates. Meanwhile, we hope Greenwood is able to try and recover. It doesn't look like he's going to be doing anything anytime soon. Look at Scruton chasing back. Paul Lannan thought he was through. And here's Butler Fleming. Now that's legitimate. This part's legitimate. It's this last effort. That last effort on too long, trying to buy time for his teammates so they can get back.
Well, we'll just wait for James Greenwood to leave the field. Unfortunately, looks like he won't be taking part in this game.
Had one game for Salford in a brief spell here in 2015. Tim Sheen's injury list is growing. I mentioned it earlier on. 1 or 2 of those players coming back in the next few weeks. I think Adam Quinlan should be back soon. It's James Greenwood being helped off the field, and this second half has, what a transformation it has been, and nothing is going right for the Rovers in the moment.
It's just been the speed and the aggression of which Salford have played the game, the way they've carried the ball, the way that they've defended. But the effort from Nick Scruton, the number 8 for Hull KR, has kept them in the game. They could have conceded 6 points. They've only conceded 2, 4 points behind on the scoreboard, so that will give them confidence.
18-14 the scoreline now. 14-0 down, Salford were.
Holding it out, get square. Go.
But they have dominated this second half, and Rovers struggling to get their hands on the ball in an attacking position.
The focus for Hull KR now, I think, is they don't need to worry about posting points just yet. And regroup and regather and wait to regain the full complement of players.
And not suffer any more damage, but Josh Jones is bouncing off tackles and getting the pass away to Robert Louis, who's finding a bit of space, and the crowd sensing maybe more points coming here. Here is Wellham, the cover comes across, Jordan Abdul in there to make the tackle. On the last now, Dobson. Haraki was offside.
Yeah, that could have been a penalty. That Wella Haraki, I agree with you, was offside then.
Well, it's a good recovery from Hull KR, who were looking at arms flailing on the halfway line as Robert Louis got it out to Murdoch Masilla, and you worried, you feared for Hull KR, but once again they've recovered. Once again they've stemmed the flow. 8 more minutes left. Down a man. and they'll gain another incremental burst of confidence from that.
Here is feisty fullback Ben Cockayne. Hull FC doing a comprehensive job on a very much below strength Catalan Dragons side in that cup tie. 44-0 the KCOM.
Well, Blur, knowing that the downer man is quite willing to kick this ball off the field, let the clock tick down, knowing that they had a lot of joy in the first half with this play, and just really focus and set the goals again. Because the game that they've been defending, they've been clutching at swords. The scrambling defence has been absolutely exceptional. They have been on the back foot. They've been turning up for each other, but they have conceded points. They've got to get back to the same focus that they had in that first half.
Bit of a pause, chance to go down to pitch side and hear from Angela Powers with injury news.
Yeah, James Greenwood, he sat on the bench for the first couple of seconds and then they took him into the changing rooms, talked to the doctor, and he says it looks like ankle or knee. They're not quite sure yet, but I think he's taken a brace into the changing rooms. It's looking unlikely, though, he'll come back on.
Scruffy pass from the scrum, fell at the feet of Johnson. The Rovers fans sensing that there might have been a knock on there.
Just going back to the way the last set ended, I'm actually surprised that Niall Levels didn't take that ball on. Hulkayard down a man, struggling to contain Salford at the moment, and no real kick chase. There's a real mark of respect there, unless he's trying to get some air into his own players' lungs. They themselves have made a real effort in this first period of the second half.
Josh Jones is held, cries referee Robert Hicks. And it's good work from Rovers this set of 6, restricting Salford's progress, and Dobson's kick is a good one.
That's the strength of the man, isn't it? His kicking game. He's never been known for his big defensive displays, Michael Dobson, but his intelligence around the ruck, his kicking game, his organisation. Well, there's a penalty. This will help Hulkayard. Junior South giving a penalty where the second effort on Ryan Shaw, the winger for Hulkayard, and it will certainly help them. Salford have the numerical advantage. They get the penalty, and, well, Hulkayard look like they've addressed some problems, and they're getting back to basics.
Josh Johnson, I beg your pardon. Up to halfway line.
Stanwell, Hall, go to.
And Rovers looking to steady the ship after that torrid start to the second half. Minns, last season's top try scorer, really haven't had a chance to threaten Maurice Blair. That man threatened Sean Lunt, certainly in the first half. This is better.
He's leading the way, isn't he, Ben Cockayne?
Little chip kick over the top from Abdul. It's a delicate one, and well dealt with by Gareth O'Brien. And Liam Salter's got a bang as he went in for that ball.
Let's get some space, boys.
It's good pressure, that, isn't it?
It's really smart play. They're not. I couldn't guarantee you 100% they're not going for a try, but I'm 99% sure they want to put it in a corner there. It's a great kick, and it puts O'Brien under all sorts of pressure.
They're building that is it. They are building pressure.
Well, I think they're marking time until they get the full complement back, because
well, chip the ball over the top. You know that Gareth O'Brien, the fullback, who's very intelligent, is going to be in the vicinity. If he makes the mistake, they score the try. But it's about that building pressure. And now Salford with a dropout under the sticks. Hulkayard get the ball back close to Salford's line, as we're just checking on Salter, Liam Salter, see if he's okay.
Oh, and it's a head knock.
Yeah.
The
indication going to Tim Sheens and his coaching team.
That's going to be a further reshuffle. They're running out of personnel. But I think as Liam Salter leaves the field, massive respect and admiration for what this Hulkayard team are doing. They're under all sorts of pressure. The down men, not just on the field, but on the interchange as well. And they're really sticking it to the Red Devils after being almost overwhelmed in the first 20 minutes of this second half.
18-14, Salford lead in this Challenge Cup tie. Quarter-final place at stake. Here is Scruton. Scruton and Lunt, two very seasoned campaigners in this Hulkingston Rovers side. Now Ben Kavanagh plays the ball. First real opportunity of this second half, and it's a good kick. Oh, and Shaw was chasing it, but the ball beats them all. Cockayne, the artful dodger, will try it.
Well, there was some panic in Niall Levels then, wasn't it, when the ball goes over? Look, he gets back on his bike, goes as quick as he can.
Heffernan flung it back in field, but he was almost in the stand by the time he got to it.
You can see that the first touch came off. The first touch came off Niall Levels. And I'm just going to check here now with the touch judge.
So it's a free play.
The rain coming down at the AJ Bell Stadium.
So the first mistake was from Niall Levels as he goes to tap this ball out of play. The ball, unfortunately for him, goes forward. So even though Heffernan gets the ball, he throws it back into the field.
But it's effectively a free play.
It is a free play. That's what it's for, because they've knocked on from that man.
Let's get in, please. Let's get in. Let's get in. Heads in,
what
please.
The chances are a try direct from the scrum again, Bill.
Ball, Jamie. Out.
Ellis. Zach Docker-Clay is off the bench. Luntz tackled about 2 metres short of the line. Weller Haraki right in his face. Held up.
Tackle 3.
Scruton is it.
Salford look thin away to that right edge.
Lunt trying to get it out there. And then the change of direction, and they've lost a bit of momentum. Here is Zach Docker-Clay, a 22-year-old former captain of the junior Kiwis. Scruton can't take the pass. Louis couldn't collect it either.
First knock on.
It's good defence on the line from Salford. Out wide, they got up, they turned the ball back into the middle, because the way that the defensive line had got up and challenged them. It's over out wide, but then the pressure.
I think it slipped out of Sean Lunt's hands, because it's not a good quality pass and not a good pass with that coming at you. And Scruton's the latest in a long line of Hull KR players.
Well, he's got to try and catch a bad ball with the likes of Ben Murdoch-Masila in front of him. Imagine that man coming at you when you know that there's 2 men and Sean Lunt gets out. He wants 2 men running at the defensive line. He wants an option. He either wants to hit the lead runner or the face ball to that man.
Yeah, there's no margin for error, is there? And he's been clattered there as he's gone through the back. Regained his feet though, looks okay.
Dacia Magic Weekend coming up next weekend. We'll be in Newcastle upon Tyne at St James's Park for day 1 of the Magic Weekend. Starts at 2 o'clock on Sky Sports 2. Fun-filled day on the banks of the River Tyne. Fun-filled weekend, day 2. Sunday, May the 21st, 12:30. We start on Sky Sports Mix. A Magic Weekend coming up. Who's going to be celebrating at the end of this? At the moment it's Salford, but only by a 4-point margin they lead.
It shows how good Salford have been on our stats in this game. They'd only missed 3 tackles in the first half. They've missed 17. Now, so they're falling off tackles, and that's because of what Salford are doing when they're carrying the ball again. There's a problem with Nick Scruton as he pulls out of that tackle with Haraki.
Louis puts a kick over the top. Cockayne will gather and counter for Hull Kingston Rovers, but Louis there with Dobson to make the tackle.
And this is intentional. Salford are keeping this ball in play because they know that their forward pack for Hull KR are having to work overtime.
Shaw's lost that ball. Throw John.
They've got Hull KR on the back foot here. Look at the numbers. 3 numbers. The ball's just trapped on a Salford player. I think it was Chris Bryning. But you've got Ben Kavanagh, who looks like he's putting a big shift and he's going to ask to play big minutes. You've got Nick Scruton, who's been clutching his right shoulder. The men who've got to take the ball forward in those yardage plays close to your try line, they're the men at the minute in the Hull KR jersey that are hurting.
And they're not being allowed to recovery time. These guys are fit and they will recover quickly. And that's one of the main reasons why Robert Louis there has kept that ball in play. Eliminates that recovery time, increases the fatigue.
Wakefield cruising to victory in their cup tie at Dewsbury. Hull FC likewise against the Catalan Dragons, but nobody's having it easy at this one. 18-14 the scoreline, 44-0 the latest score at the K-Con. Catalan Dragons with all sorts of injury problems. Greg Bird, the latest casualty with that fractured eye socket.
Mins and Abdul have done so well on that left edge defensively. And they've got an error, they've forced an error from O'Brien off the subs bench this evening into the full-back role.
Oh, was that a little nudge from Jordan Abdul's knee?
Well, there's been plenty of gamesmanship, hasn't there, going on this evening, but still the responsibility, I feel, of the attacker there to keep possession. Just I think credit where credit's due. Both Abdul and Mins, they've been asked plenty of questions as we look on at Scruton once again. I think trying to suck air in as much as anything else.
He's probably still recovering from that chase back to deny Ryan Lannon.
Yeah, he's been struggling, Nick Scruton, but having the edge players for Hull KR done a decent job. They've jammed in, they've cut players down.
On occasion, it's just been enough, but that's all that matters.
That's all they need, isn't it?
Heads in, 5.
Scruton definitely struggling.
Heads in.
Sean Lunt,
Heads in.
as ever, urging his teammates on, and Salford put the push on, but Hull Kingston Rovers withstand it. A kick chase. Shaw is hurtling after this. And back comes Chris Brining, I think it is, to gather that ball.
Well, Bill, people might be sat around thinking, why have you kicked on the first place? 17 minutes to go. But they've kicked to get the ball away from the try line. They don't want the ball near the try line. The way that Salford have been defending, it's slippy. It's starting to rain. So they don't want to make a mistake near their own line.
I think that's a crazy decision. I think with an hour gone in the game, responded really well. You put it back in the opposition hands and risk decisions like that. I think it's absolutely crazy. They're just about to have their full complement restored. You play that set out and you find a kick.
John, I think that's the right play, but that's poor to give a penalty away. If you know that the reason why you're doing that ball, let's get the ball as far away from our try line as we can. Let's try and force a mistake. You don't give a penalty away, though, like that.
I think you do it by getting to the end of the set, something they've been doing incredibly well all game.
Junior Sal plays the ball, and Logan Tompkins then finds Lamatasi. Tompkins. The pass sticks.
Well, he was looking at the referee, Josh Jones, for an extra. He thought that was an obstruction, didn't he, Josh Jones?
Jones got away with it, I think. Louis, O'Brien. Wellham can't take the pass. Johnson will step his way through, just as he did last October.
Well, nice defence from Mins. He doesn't commit. He knows that Salford are going across. Look at him, the number 3. He's looking at what Gareth O'Brien's doing before he goes out to Chris Wellham. There's good talk from those two players in Mins and Butler Fleming.
It's a really good read by Mins. I think it's an excellent read. He's been excellent all game. He's had an awful lot asked of him defensively. We've not seen the best of him in attack, not since that very early break in the first half. But he's impressed me.
Heads in, get your head in, Sean, head.
Head and feed then to Hull Kingston Rovers on their own 10 metres line. Work to do to get out of trouble here now. Mins plays the ball.
Look at that line speed. Lee Mossop again.
Somebody's had a word in Salford's ear at half-time.
It's amazing what a half-time team talk can do. Here we go again from dummy half, Sean Lunt. Just pumping that ball. One of the Salford defenders fell for the dummy.
Couldn't exploit it as he did in the first half. Cocaine and Mossop in there quickly. Here goes Lunt again, and really is trying to drive the team upfield with him.
But when he gets out from dummy half and behind the play the ball, he's trying to bring some of his players onto the ball. They've got to respond to what he does.
Here's Ellis. Maurice Blair. Little kick ahead for Shaw to chase. And Shaw has got some speed. But Gareth O'Brien has got some coolness.
That's a great end to a set. It's positive, but it's also controlled. Now you've got the Red Devils in the right area of the field.
This has got to be a disciplined set, Bill.
A clean set, yeah.
No mistakes. Don't give a penalty away.
Johnson. The Salford supporters lifting their side. This is a crucial phase of the game. The lead is only 4 points. Here's Wella Haraki.
4. Move, Ben.
Oh, that's a penalty.
That's a big decision.
And that's what I'm talking about, but there's players that's on top of Wella Haraki, who again, he's not dominated. Look, he's still on his front. He tries to play the ball. He gets up. There's players around, and if you're in the vicinity of the man who's trying to put the ball on the floor and play it correctly, look, good footwork at the line. He's got excellent balance there. Probably you can see the rain coming down.
Good for Gardeners.
Release, Morris, that's one. Hold now, hold.
I'll take your word for it, Bill. I've got a yard.
Here's Mossop now and walking forward. He's held, says the referee. Some confusion there on the face of Lee Mossop. Plays the ball eventually. You haven't got a yard, you've got an estate.
A yard.
Here's Robert Louis. Louis, O'Brien quickly on. Johnson skipping in field. Kane coming in.
He's coming from everywhere, Ben Kane, isn't he?
Well, have felt that, Greg Johnson. Little chip kick ahead from Wellham, and Jordan Abdul has to bat the ball dead. The tables are just completely turned in this game.
It's going from one end to the other, isn't it? And Ben Kane, who flew out the line and put pressure on in defence, he wasn't back. And the reason why Chris Wellham kicks the ball is because he knows that the fullback has been involved in the play before. So he knows that there's some space, but it's a good job. Jordan Abdul was at the back then, ready to kick that ball dead.
Yeah, he's able to clean up his Abdul. Smart play by Wellham. You're right, he found Ben Kane coming in late and hard into that tackle. Legitimately, I feel, on balance. But spotted that positional, or being out of position rather, and he's earned his side another crack at this Hull KR line.
Jordan Abdul then with the goal line dropout. There's another Rovers player struggling. I think Ben Kavanagh has just had a bit of treatment. But they're not out of this game. They don't need to ship any more points, that's for sure. Junior Sal. 20 metres out. Logan Tompkins having a good season is the former Wigan hooker Tompkins. Krasnicki plays the ball. Louis back on the inside. O'Brien, that was good defence from Lunt.
Yeah, it was really well read by Sean Lunt.
Here is Louis once more. Short pass to Ben Murdoch-Masila. He's using his strength, but he's over the line. He's on his face and he's claiming the try. Now then, sort that one out, video ref Phil Bentham.
Bill, I saw him score a try like that against Widnes, where he just powers over the line. He carries defenders, he's that big. Ben Murdoch-Masila. There's no problem with him, even after contact, to just keep pushing those legs forward, keep driving for the line. You can see the ball.
Can you?
Well, you couldn't see it until Abdul gets himself involved, but
I'd be amazed if this gets given, overturned rather. Decision's gone up to the video referee as no try.
Look at that, he's that big. He looks bigger than the 4 defenders that are around him, trying to stop him. Well, Ben Kane does a very good job to hold on to his arm, which is his lever, so he can't get that ball down. And Mins is involved, still can't see the ball getting down. See the anguish on his face, thinking, come on. Yeah, no try this.
No try. Last tackle.
So escape for Hull Kingston Rovers. Good defence again from the Robins. And it's on the last, and Dobson hoists the kick. And Cocaine deals with it very smartly.
That's really smart. Not only has he prevented being put in goal, he's also gained his team 20 really valuable metres, because Hull KR have struggled coming out of their own half. Such has been the enthusiasm, the line speed generated from the Salford Red Devils. There's an opportunity now for Hull KR.
That was a poor kid, that was smart.
Was it?
Wow, yeah.
If you wish it hard enough, it will be so.
He hadn't actually planted his foot, had he?
No, ball's still in the air, so that was in play. Oh,
Lamatasi, and Lunt was lucky there.
Well, he never holds back, does he, Lamatasi? His best football has been played at Salford. Wow.
Sean Lunt.
He's lucky. He's lucky.
He's come off the shoulder.
He plays the game.
Probably spared him.
Yeah. He plays the game full on, Lamatasi. He spent a year at Saints. It didn't quite work out for him back at Salford, and again, every time you see him play, you're impressed with what he gives the side.
I tell you what, Sean Lunt has led by example, and he just thought, you could see the look on his face. What was that?
And he's got to get straight in behind dummy half where he is now. Look left and right and organise some plays.
Ben Kavanagh. Now then, Hull Kingston Rovers, they've had to take a battering in this second half, but have they got something left in the tank to inflict a bit of punishment on Salford? 10 minutes to go, 4 points behind. Lunt gets the pass away. Cockayne now. Oh, Cockayne was hoping to get the pass away, but couldn't.
He was asking Butler Fleming to come on the inside. He'd taken the ball deep and wide.
But great pressure, Chris Wellham, wasn't it? He hunts him down.
Second half has flown by and time running out for Hull Kingston Rovers now. Olsi Krasnicki keeping it safe, keeping it simple.
It just seems a lot of movement in the red jerseys. Now, Josh Jones with another strong carry going forward, and again you can see the pivots for Salford just standing back, directing the bigger players as Logan Tompkins takes a tackle.
Gareth O'Brien, here's Lamatasi. That's the fifth tackle. And O'Brien hoists that kick into the corner. Zach Docker-Clay is underneath this one. The ball is batted down. Ben Murdoch-Masila comes alive. Robert Hicks awards the try. The ball falling kindly for the big second row, who's got 8 tries in the last 9 games, make that 9 in 10 now for Ben Murdoch-Masila, his first in the cup, and the one that probably sees off the challenge from Hull Kingston Rovers.
Well, okay, so close up the other end of the park, but great defence from Chris Wellham, and it's that man Chris Wellham who sets up this play when the ball goes in the earth from Gareth O'Brien. It's an excellent kick. Look, Chris Wellham goes up, he beats Hull KR in the earth, pats it back to Ben Murdoch-Masila, the big man who was quiet in the first half. I'm sure the coach has said to him, look, we need more of you in this second half. You need to get your hands on the ball. You are a devastating runner when you carry the ball, and there's what it means to the mascot and the fans behind the sticks. It's been going all Salford's way in this second half.
And Michael Dobson will look to put a bit more distance between Salford and his former club, Hull Kingston Rovers, with this conversion attempt after that try from Ben Murdoch-Masila. Dobson on target, and Salford now look on target for a place in the quarter-finals of the Ladbrokes Challenge Cup.
Well, it's taken 73 of the 80 minutes for Salford to put this one to bed. Such has been the challenge in the first half, then the rearguard action in the second. But Murdoch-Masila, he's done little, I think, this evening, but what he has done has been of great import to this Salford side. Hugely influential, if not in terms of workload, but in terms of the impact he's had for his side.
24 points to 14, 10 points adrift for Hull Kingston Rovers. But that match last October, we were saying that there was no way back for them, for Salford, and they managed to turn it round, and now Rovers have got to do a similar job.
Well, could they come back? The effort that they've given, do you know what, there'll be Super League sides watching the way that Hull KR have performed and tuning in on Sky Sports, having a look at how they do play, what they're going to be up against. The competition splits in 10 games, and I think Hull KR, as they give a penalty away, are going to be a difficult team for anyone in the bottom 4 of Super League. Maurice Blur just letting his emotions just get the better of him. They give the penalty away, but I've seen enough of this Hull KR side to think that they could cause some problems.
If there's an area of the field where they've let themselves down, or area of the game rather, it has been discipline in around the ruck late in the tackle count. And that's something that perhaps doesn't catch them out week in, week out in the Championship. But let's not forget who they're up against tonight. It's the Salford side who are sitting 3rd in the Super League table. It's been, I think, a really commendable performance, albeit in all likelihood in defeat for Hull KR, and have really tested and challenged the Red Devils.
And also Hull KR, they're going to finish top of the championship, and if they do finish top of the championship, they get 4 home games out of the 7.
4 points ahead of Featherstone at the moment. I'm sure John Sharp's men might disagree with you in that assessment.
I still fancy them though. I still think that even with this loss, they'll learn, they'll concentrate, and then the focus will all be on the league competition.
That is the priority, surely, for them this season. Get back into Super League, regain their place. Be good to see them back.
They offer so much, don't they? Neil Udgell's put an awful lot of money in us. Again, Benker Kane. They've got some old war horses that won't give it up. Some good young players as well.
There's a knock on there from Logan Tompkins.
And isn't that good defence? That's what you want to see with just under 5 minutes to go. The game's gone. But you want to keep forcing those mistakes. You want to keep giving it absolutely everything. As Logan Tompkins gets out, maybe there's a little hand around where the ball is, but I'm okay with that tackle from Rob Mulhern, the former Leeds Academy player.
Hull Kingston Rovers put out Lee in the last round and have come very close against another Super League side here tonight. But this second half effort from Salford has really... well, it has transformed the game, and it has been a transformation of Salford after a first half in which they were completely dominated and outplayed by this Robin side.
Well, they've stepped on the accelerator, and the middlemen for Salford, as you said, they were totally outplayed in that first half. Hull KR were more physical. Their efforts that they were doing every time they carried the ball were excellent, and Salford have learned from that, and they've come out, and that's why they're sitting towards the top end of the table.
Magic weekend coming up for Salford next weekend. Summer bash looming for Hull Kingston Rovers, who come up with an error. The rain still coming down here at the AJ Bell.
We're running out of time. Need some points. You can see just the mistake from Liam Salter as he's looking up at what's in front of him, and that man that was in front of him was Lee Mossop.
No need for a dramatic one-pointer at this particular meeting between these two sides, and Ian Watson, the Salford coach, has turned the tables on his former boss, Tim Sheens. Catalan really getting a pasting, meanwhile, from the other side in Hull. Hull FC, 62-0.
That's a huge score, that is.
But it is, well, be interesting to see the Catalan side, because it sounded like it was going to be a UTC team. The number of reserved Lauren Fraser who had called up. Olsi Krasnicki is there to pass the ball. Here's Lamatasi, who's been a formidable presence in the second half for this Salford Red Devils side. Dobson, little grubber kick from Dobson. They'll get the ball back, and they are dominant in this game now. They have been dominant in this second half of the Salford Red Devils. 24 unanswered points.
Yeah, well, Michael Dobson just knows exactly how to turn the screw. They go for a short kick-off.
Rovers complaining there was a knock-on from Chris Wellham there. I think they've got a point, but Robert Hicks couldn't spot that, and then that was a knock-on. Robert Louis has lost the ball. Conditions, though, not helping the players in the closing minutes here. But we've seen enough from this Hull Kingston Rovers side to know that when it comes to the middle eights, you're going to have to handle them very, very carefully.
I think whoever finishes in the bottom 4 positions in Super League, well, they've been put on notice this evening that this is a challenge, and a concerted challenge to return at the first attempt to Super League. I think they've not been perfect this evening, but they've shown great commitment and heart as they make another mistake. Sean Lunt, he doesn't deserve that because he's had an excellent game. It'll be an excellent game in defeat.
He's been tremendous. He's led the way right from the start, and you can see what it means, the defence and the reaction from Lamatasi when he comes up with that hit. Ian Watson knows that he's done a tremendous job. The team spirit, the camaraderie that they've got right the way through the ranks. You can see his assistant coach, Martin Gleeson. They've got some very shrewd coaches at Salford.
It took them a while to get going. They're going to win by 10 points in all likelihood. And I think large credit, as I said, is to the opposition, the travelling opposition this evening. One thing we've not mentioned an awful lot of, Bill, is the weather, which has deteriorated throughout the night. So I wonder these guys can hold on to it.
Well, Salford have held on to it when it's mattered in this second half. And they have turned this game around. It really did look as though Hull Kingston Rovers were going to claim another Super League club after that triumph over Lee. But Salford managed to turn it round. They came out after half-time, a side transformed, and Hull Kingston Rovers thinking that maybe all they had to do was carry on doing what they've been doing. Well, they weren't able to do that in the face of renewed effort. And Wellham, who's been denied twice, looking right to the last for a try against his former club. Ian Watson will settle for that, though.
Well, he knows that, the little wink to Craig Kopchak as he shakes hands with Martin Gleeson, the assistant. But Michael Dobson, he shows what he can do. If he has that field position, he's got time, he can cause problems.
And Hull Kingston Rovers caused problems for Salford here tonight. Tim Sheen's side led 14-6 at half-time, in actual fact, having outplayed their Super League opponents in the first half. Tables turned in the second, well, from the 38th minute. And it's Ian Watson's side who've gone on to win by 24 points to 14. Ian Watson has turned it round. He's with Angela.
Bill's just said you turned it around. They didn't give you any rhythm, any play really in that first half, but you did turn it around. What did you say at half-time?
Oh, we just said we needed to focus on getting back to how we play. We felt we was getting frustrated and getting involved in their kind of game, and they were slowing us down, and they were playing real fast, which is what we wanted to do to them. Second half, we came out and we shown how to do it the right way.
Well, possession was key then as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, especially when the conditions start to change like as well, about playing really deep and turning them around so you dominate the field position. And I thought second half was a lot better. I thought Robbie Louis injected himself into the game second half as well.
So you must be quite relieved at that, but the second half gave you lots of positives.
Yeah, a lot of positives on the second half. First half, something that we need to address because we can't start games like that.
Well, I think we've got Michael Dobson, who's man of the match, coming over now. Congratulations on that, Ian. Michael, if you want to come in and grab this bottle of champagne on your way, just come in here for us and quick word on that. It was a frustrating first half for you, but the second half you were able to play the game you wanted to play.
Yeah, we were pretty poor in the first half, to be fair, and they stuck it to us. The scrum plays, we knew they were coming because that's what we did last year, so that's Sheensy all over, but we didn't defend them, and yeah, we're better in the second half.
Enjoy that in the second half then?
I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but it's good to get the win, so yeah.
In terms of the what you're learning from this as well, is that you get into the quarterfinals of the Cup, but it gives you something to work on.
Yeah, it does. We've got to start better in the game, and we're something we need to do. So we're in the quarterfinals, though, so we're in with a shot, and we just got to keep going.
That was it. The first half, really, they didn't let you get into a rhythm at all.
Yeah, no, they stuck it to us, and as I said, we were pretty poor, to be fair. But we come out in the second half, and we showed what we're about.
Thanks very much for your time, Michael. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Michael Dobson will be imploring his team to start better. They were 12-0 behind the Hull Kingston Rovers after 22 minutes. And then they hit back in style. The second half was all theirs. 14-6 half-time lead for Hull Kingston Rovers. In the end, Salford win out 24 points to 14 in this